All right. Um, Sorry about that. This is having some technical difficulties on my end. I'm getting it all fixed real quick here, and then we'll be back to normal. What's up? Um, do this. Um, Okay, well, it looks like this is functioning, even though it's yelling at me over here for the video settings thing. Let me know if there are any issues with it, and then otherwise I'm just gonna get started because I don't want to sit here and play with the go back and forth on all the streaming settings stuff. That's just a pain. So yeah. All right. So what I'm going to be working on here for a while is I want to just get started with the actual project that I've been working on. This is going to be a full like e-commerce site build out that we're going to be working on. I have a ton of videos planned for this that are in the works that we'll be putting out over the next few weeks here. But for now, I'm just finishing up actually building it. I figured it would be a good this would be a good time to just do it live. So, yeah, let's go ahead and start getting this done. Um, okay, so what we have right now is just basic landing page. We have products which are being saved into a database. I'm using Drizzle for the database. Then we've got basic about page, nothing in here. The repo is public. It's completely open source as always. So if you guys want this, actually I can link this in chat real quick. This is what we're going to be using. Then yeah, we've got that. And then the cart itself is just super basic. I've got a lot of the back end stuff done, but I haven't done a huge amount as far as the front end making it look nice side of things go. So I'm just gonna go ahead and work on that. Oh, hey Colby, what's up? Um, yeah. So let me know again if there's anything wrong on this with the technical stream side. It was a pain getting all that set up, but I will just get back to working on this. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is make this cart page look a little bit better and clean it up. And then we're going to go jump straight into the actual Stripe checkout because I have the webhooks set up for this, but I need to get the actual cart ready. Sweet, good to hear. So let's go to cart. So right now we're just printing out the names. You can see here, I'm using for the cart, I'm doing it all in local storage right now because for the UX and that kind of thing, I think it's better to just let them use the cart and do all that stuff without forcing them to sign in and save it in a database. So for this get cart method, all I'm doing is I'm just loading in and out of local storage. So just parsing JSON strings. So nothing particularly crazy there. So we've got our cart here. Let's go ahead and clean this up a little bit. So we'll put this into a div, and we'll go ahead and say div here, and we'll just do an h2 or something, and then we'll do item dot name. Then we'll do probably a div over here because I'm going to want to flex these apart and just do it across the screen. So we'll do here a the name, and then the we'll do item dot price. Then over here we will go ahead and do the item dot quantity. Yeah, we'll probably change that in a second here. So we do this, this will change all this here. So then now we're going to go ahead and class, this will be we just want this to be row, so we'll do flex, flex column. So each one of these will get a row. We'll do with full EX. This is not fully responsive right now. It will, we'll go back through and add mobile later. I am not the greatest in the world at doing mobile. Get cart is just pulling the cart items out of the local storage, because we're just working on the cart right now, and I don't feel like actually, I don't want to use like the database or anything to store the cart, so that so that you don't have to sign in to use the site. So I just have these two basic methods I wrote, client side, like adding an item to cart, and removing an item from cart and getting an item from the cart. So we're actually going to be calling remove from cart here in a second, because we're going to want to use that on the cart page, because we also need to allow them to remove items from their cart. So we'll go ahead and do a button here, which will be remove. And yeah, that should work. So that's going to be flex call with full here. Okay. Then for each of these, we're going to go ahead and do class will be flex row, justify between items center to clean that up. And the item name itself, we're going to go ahead and do, let's make this a little bit bigger. You know, UI is not my strong suit. It's not the greatest thing in the world. So I'm definitely going to be doing many passes at this in the future to make it look better. But for right now, we're just focused on the core functionality here. So we're going to do font, bold, text, large, text. Let's make this a little different. Let's do like Slate 800, make it stick out a bit more. Then here, over here, we're going to do flex row. Let's just do items center. And then gap X4. Spread these out a little bit. For the price, let's just do let's just do text medium, and then text slate. Let's maybe do this like 600, make these stick out a little bit more. Same thing here. We're gonna do text medium, text slate 600, and then the remove button. Let's go ahead and make this red. So this will be bg-red 600, I think. That's probably the right one. Text white, and then font bold. I don't know. We might change that in a second here. And px of 4, py of 2, rounded, large, hover, bg red 500. That should, yep, that gets the basics across. Oh, whoops, I forgot. Hover, cursor, pointer. We want to have a pointer cursor there. So we do these two here. Yep. So now we're going to want to go ahead and add some more space in between these. So we're going to do gap -y, and let's make this 4 for now. See how that looks. Yeah, that looks okay. I think this should probably be constrained, honestly, in width. So maybe what we're going to do instead is, instead of making this width full, we're going to just make this like width 1/2. And then we will go ahead and add a div up here. And then we're going to center our div across the screen. We'll go here, hit this, and do class with full items center, justify center. Again, this is really not the greatest setup in the world for all this stuff, but it functions. It functions just fine. Hold up. So this is with full, and then this is flex. Oh, I didn't make it a flex container. Whoops. Flex. There we go. Okay, so now that should just show up in the middle, and we have our cart here. Maybe add one more little thing here to make it stick out a bit. So since we have all these, maybe we'll go ahead and down here and do a div, which we'll just go ahead and make class with full, and then border -t, and then border -slate 900. So we'll add a little line underneath each one to make them stick out from each other. And then maybe Maybe make the border opacity like 50 or something, make it really subtle. Yeah, that looks kind of nice. Okay, so that will just give us the ability to see all of the products we've got in here. How do I handle the data layer in general? Not for this product. Yeah, I mean, data layer, there's a bajillion options. I go back and forth on this too. I mean, you could have a separate, like, I made those videos a while back where I had like the separate Golang API and all that stuff, where we were, had like a full separate REST API. And then within my server routes, we would like make API calls to that. I've sort of come to the conclusion that for the way I work on things these days, which is in super small teams or alone, it makes way more sense to just do everything in one project. So all my data layer stuff is just handled within the SvelteKit app on the server it provides me. And then I use something like Drizzle to connect to my database. So like here in this project, we're going to be using Drizzle. I haven't gone too much into it, but like here's the database schema we've gotten here. I need to make some updates to this because it's not all fully up to date, but it's generally speaking, like we've got our products in here, our product images, reviews, orders, all this stuff. It's the basic things we need to actually hold all of this information for to make this work. So I'm doing all my database work in the SvelteKit app. But you can do this any different way you want. That's part of the problem is there are a lot of options. This is just the one that I've personally found works the best. Okay, so we've done all that stuff. I guess now let's go ahead and add the submit button down here. We'll just make this a div, and then we'll do button. We'll go ahead and do checkout, and then we will do class. Actually, we'll add two buttons in here because it's probably a good idea. Clear cart class of dash clear cart should probably be it seems like red. Why not BG red 600? Honestly, I'm just gonna go ahead and yank this and paste that in. Then for our, I'm gonna do the same thing for this guy, then just change some colors. BG, let's do this as green, and then we have hover back here. We'll do green again. So now we've gone ahead and we have our two buttons here, our checkout and our clear cart. These two are showing up down here at the bottom. Oh yeah, because this is outside of the list. Whoops. Let's go ahead and do this and paste this in here. And then we'll go ahead, do that. And then these two show up here. I'm going to move them to the other side. Class with full flex, end, or is it justify? And yeah, I think that's what it is. Yep. And then we're going to go ahead and do gap x for. There we go. This is really quick and dirty UI stuff. I'm not a UI guy. Like on the big projects I'm working on, I either have a separate designer or a guy who's much better at UI than I am. But for right now, this gets the point across and we'll go ahead and improve this later. Should probably add like some icons in here, maybe turn these into gradients. Probably just need more content around here on the page in general, but for right now, this will work. And then let me go ahead and do add one more thing here. We'll just do an X. So we do like, yeah, times 1. Yeah, that'll work. ShadCN colors. Yeah, I should be using something like ShadCN or Skeleton or something like that. I'm probably going to go ahead and retroactively add that in here because like this is just stupidly basic UI right now because I'm more concerned about just getting the functionality working. So let me go back to that cart.ts. So we're going to add another method in here called clear cart. And then we're going to go ahead and do, we don't need any other information. One thing I'm doing here is I'm double checking that this can only be run on the browser because we're using like local storage methods. And obviously if we're calling this from a server, that will not work because we can't get into local storage there. So we're just making sure that this is only run client side. And then we're just going to go ahead and do local storage.set item cart. And then we're just going to do JSON.stringify and empty it right. Okay, there we go. So that will just clear out our cart entry. We go back here on this button, we're going to go ahead and do on click, and we're just going to attach clear cart to this guy. Then that is a good point too. You could just steal design from those things. Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. Again, we'll probably go through and do that. There might be one of these days I might go through and just have like a full design day where we just take everything in there. Oh yeah, I mean, all of these have been built to death. Like there are 82 bajillion cart pages, product pages, checkout pages. Like these are not new things that we're implementing here. It's just really the interesting part is the way we're doing it with the back end and the way we're doing it with Stripe and Svelte and all that stuff. Okay, so then here we're gonna go ahead and do as I think we can get item IDX, right? I think you can you pull a tuple from this? I don't remember. No, I don't think you can. Crap, that sucks. Svelte each blocks. ID name. Oh, nice. You can pull the index. Awesome. Yep. Okay, great. We can do this. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Svelte at this point. It has been so freaking nice working with this stuff. I mean, I'm doing a ton of React Native work right now. When is the stream ending? Not for a while. I mean, I started like 10 minutes ago, so probably not for several hours if I had to guess. I just want to get as much done as humanly possible. So, and I was gonna do this anyway, so I figured I might as well just do it live and then have this as like an archive or whatever. So when this series is done, because once this is this whole project is built, I'm gonna have deep dives for like each of the individual pieces on it. So I figure I might as well just have the actual raw footage of me building this out. That'll be a useful thing to just have in the archive. So yeah, probably a couple hours. Okay, on click. And then we're going to go ahead here and we're just going to do remove. Did I name that stupid? Whoops. It should not be called remove from cart. Whoops. Okay, we'll go ahead and do this. We will clear this out here. From cart, and then we'll pass an I. So now here, this should, this is going to be some interesting reactivity stuff because when I hit remove, yeah, it's not going to update the UI, but when we refresh, it will. So like here we're like loading our cart data in here, so we need to do the reactivity. What's up, Nick? So okay, so we need to do the reactivity. I always forget the Svelte reactive systems. Actually, it's probably just easier to do it this way. So we'll add this here. We're going to add this in here. I don't want to get too fancy with weird stuff. Just make it super declarative and verbose. So we're going to remove from cart, and then we're just going to set cart equals get cart. And we're just going to go ahead and let this guy. So we're just going to make this really basic, and we're not going to worry too much about making this weird. Yeah, it's just a cart entry, and we pull that in. So then, because all of this is being run client side, so I'm not too worried about it. So we hit this, and then if we hit remove, that should, oh, that doesn't clear it. So yelling at me about anything here. Oh, remove this, and it doesn't even run. Well, that's fun. Okay, so remove from cart, we just want to console.log idx, and then we're going to want to go ahead and console.log the items. Oh, good to see you. Yeah, always Svelte is great. More people should be using it. It's really, really great. Okay, so here length is 0. Okay, I think this is just screwed up. I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, I think you're right on that one. I think that is the reactive state. Yeah, I think that should be correct. Yeah, because then that should re-trigger on all of those. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit clear cart, and then that should hit that. And if we go to our products and we hit add to cart, then we go back to our cart. This should show up here. We hit remove. If we refresh this, okay, it's still in there. So I think this is just a problem with our remove from cart method, because yeah, it still shows up in here. It shows as length 0, but it still has this. So there's something screwed up about what's happening there with the cart itself. Oh, let's see. Because the index that was passed in was 0. So then when we remove from cart, we get the items. And then log and items. We go in here, we refresh, we hit remove, and it's still am I flipping splice? It's almost certainly. Yeah, containing the elements that were deleted. Yeah, so see, this is the problem with writing things live, is you do incredibly stupid stuff like that, where you flip it around and reset everything to, yeah, you use the wrong side of splice. Yep, there we go. All right, great. Now it works. So that's on me. Was using splice incorrectly, but I'm glad we figured that out. So remember, splice returns the not what you think it does. So let's just add like 3 of these to the cart. We're gonna go ahead and remove this, and remove this. Okay, great. So our cart functionality is working. If we go in, we can view the basic stuff here. Go back to the cart. All right, so let's just do checkout here. So we're gonna add these 2 to cart. If we go to Stripe, here, let me do one thing real quick. I don't want to leak Stripe stuff by accident that I'm not supposed to. Make sure that I'm just on the right data. There we go. So we'll go here. Yeah, I definitely want to add that to the nav bar as well. We're going to add cart up there in a second. Well, not right now, but we're going to definitely do that before all of this is over. So we want to go here to test mode, and then we want to go to products. Yeah, product catalog, and then demo Stripe product. Okay, perfect. So now we've got that fixed. I can go ahead and switch back to this mode. Okay, so on the Stripe side of things, I've already had this set up. I'm in test mode right now. This is the Stripe product that we're looking at here. The one that is being shown here, it's this demo Stripe product. This price is actually should be 500. So that's something that we need to do as well, is format that into dollars and cents. So what we want to do there is we want to take this, the item price, and we want to go ahead and say it's going to be, well, let's use these because this is probably the most useful way to do it. We're going to go ahead and do this item.price because it's in cents. This is just how many cents it is because that's how Stripe does it. So I figure it's easy to do it as well. So divided by 100, and then we'll add an extra $sign over here. Yep. So item.price, there we go, 500. And then we should probably do .to string or .to, right, let's do this. Actually, we don't need to show the cents right now. I think that's okay. because we'll keep everything flat right now. We don't need to do all that stuff. So we do all of this. That all looks good. So now let's go ahead and just implement checkout, because this doesn't do anything right now, but it needs to. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to add a form action here, because when you look at what how Stripe checkout and stuff works here, we go ahead, we pull in our Stripe checkout, and what you need to do here is you need to create a checkout session, and then when you're done with that, you redirect the user to the checkout session URL. So I think the easiest thing to do here is going to be to just utilize the built-in what's it called? The built-in Stripe, the built-in SvelteKit server actions or whatever, or I think they call them form actions. I don't remember, but we'll do page.server.ts and we'll do export const actions, and then we're going to do this, and then we're just going to do default because we just need the default one. And then now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to pass in our form data. So we want to pull out a form event. I'm muted. I definitely, we should be okay here. No, yeah, I think we're okay. Yeah, good call. Yeah, I think we're okay. Yeah, I think that I can, yeah, make sure your audio is working. Quest dot form data. Okay, perfect. So const form equals, it's all good. Okay, so we're gonna want to pull out the form data, and then we'll come back to that. So the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to want to do some progressive enhancement here, because we don't want to completely get rid of this page. We want to run a redirect once we get back here. So we're going to go ahead and let me pull up the docs for this, because I don't remember all of this off the top of my head. SvelteKit, docs, page, form actions, that's what they call them. Okay. So progressive enhancement, basically this just means that we want to do some stuff on submit. So yeah, this is the result of our action. So this result will contain the information that we need for to redirect them. So this will contain the session URL. So we're just going to go ahead and do I guess actually we could just wrap I guess honestly these could wait now. Yeah, let's do this down here. So we'll do these two. We'll make this a form. And then we're going to go ahead and do, this is a button. And then we'll make the type of this button just a button. And then we'll do the type of this button is submit. And then we will go up here to the form. And then we will say method equals post. And then, yeah, we're going to want to go ahead and use enhance. So I'm going to copy paste this. We do not need all of this at all. Or actually, let's grab this first. I'm going to go ahead and put enhance up here. And the part up here is to just do stuff that we can run before, but we don't need to do anything really fancy in here. Form data. Actually, can we add some data to this? Because right now all of these aren't in the form itself, where new form data, handle submit, on submit, prevent default. Yeah, actually this is probably a much better way of doing it. This makes a lot more sense. So let's go ahead and copy paste this, and then we're gonna have to change a bunch of stuff in here, but we can do that. Yep, so we're gonna go ahead and switch this to lang. It's what we're gonna do go again in the future, I promise. I promise we will do go again. I need to make a dedicated video about why I haven't really been using it, which is mostly just because it's, pragmatically speaking, with the stuff I've been working on, it hasn't made a ton of sense. But then we're gonna do some stuff there. I'm gonna mess around with HTMX and do some stuff there. Probably update the old templates that we made way back when for the Go backends and APIs and stuff. And we're gonna fill those up with like set those up to be full stack. So have like a full stack template with HTMX and Go and build out some neat stuff there. So that'll be a fun project to work on at some point, but just not quite yet. Okay, so we can do it this way. All right, so our data is actually just going to be our cart here. So all we need to pass in here is going to be our cart, because our cart is just going to have this body, which will actually just dot to stringify. That's what we want. The cart. So we stringify the cart. Here we go. Current target dot action is what we want. So we're going to just make a fetch request to the back. Deserialize. It's going to be an action result type. So what do we have here on result? I haven't actually used it this way before, so you can see me figure this out in real time. Data. Okay, so if it's successful, okay, so if it's successful, actually, we don't want to do that. We're going to want to go ahead and here we're going to want to go ahead. Actually, let me double check what this does. This action updates the form property of the current page given the data. In case of an error, redirects to the nearest error. Okay, yeah, so we'll leave that here. So then here, we're just going to want to switch this out on submit, prevent default, because we don't want to like refresh and redirect the page. So we're just going to go ahead and do, yeah, it's method post, and then add this guy right here. So we'll save that. And then finally, yeah, so this will just be our action in here, and our body will have all of this information. Const body equals event dot request dot body. Yes, we're doing full stack dev. Yeah, and the $sign is for it's because Svelte 5's not out yet. So when Svelte 5 comes out, that will actually be, this will be replaced with like an effect statement. So we'll do something in there. They are getting rid of that. That is where we are headed. But for right now, we are just keeping with just the $sign itself. Okay, so the body, we want to pull out the request body. Actually, is there a JSON? Yeah. This is a promise, right? Yep, promise. Okay, great. So body, and then this is going to be as, what was the type that I set this to be? I made a type for this T-card entry. Okay. Card entry, an array of T-card entries. Beautiful. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do console.log body, and then we're going to go ahead and do return hello world. So this is just going to be a test to get the return object, and then this will just be getting our body. Make sure that everything is working correctly, and then we're just going to do console.log result result.data. So result.data. Okay, yeah, that looks correct. So let's go ahead and just try this. So when we go back here to our actual site and we hit checkout, it'll say, beautiful, hello world, that worked correctly. And if we look over here, remember all that ran server side. So we can see we've got our Stripe ID, all this stuff down here. So these are our cart entries. And then we have all of these down here, which is perfect. So with all of this stuff now out, we pretty much have everything we need to do to actually create our checkout. Because if you remember over here in the Stripe hosted their checkout system for our line items. We just need the price ID and the quantity, and we have that right here. Our Stripe ID is the primary key on all of our products, and our quantity is 1. So this is really easy. Awesome. Okay. So all we need to do over here, and I've already initialized Stripe itself, I believe. I should have on the server. Yep, Stripe. So we have our Stripe itself is created. It's similar to what they've got up there. Now all we need to do is just create our session. So we're just going to go ahead and do this. Bop. Go to page.server. Hit this. Hit that. We're going to go ahead and import our Stripe from Stripe. Or no, we want to import Stripe, not from Stripe, from lib server Stripe. There we go. So now, yeah, runes are not out yet. I'm very excited for runes, and when the time comes, I will absolutely be using runes, but they're not out yet. We will almost certainly go through and make a video converting this project from Svelte 4 to Svelte 5, because that'll actually, I think that'll be a great thing to work on there. Can we get the URL in here? I always forget. Can we? I don't remember all the environment variables and stuff in Svelte, because it would be really nice if we could just get like request URL or something like that so that we can get the correct URL. Is it like event dot URL? Request. Actually, let's go ahead and just do okay, so it's just a URL. Let's go ahead and comment this out. When we hit this button, what is our URL looking like? We hit checkout. We go down here. Origin. Okay, I think that's all we need. So URL.origin. Oh God, SvelteKit's just such a beautiful framework. All right, awesome. So that problem is solved. We go down here, your domain. Let's just do this and bop, and then we're gonna go ahead and do event.url.origin. And then we're gonna go ahead and delete this. I'm a huge fan of SvelteKit. I honestly think the best part of Svelte and all this stuff is not even Svelte itself. Like the front end library and the UI is great. I think it's the full stack. It's the meta framework. I think SvelteKit is just the best meta framework by far. Like the the form actions, the loaders, the way it works, the full stack type safety, just how quick and easy it is to use. It's just so freaking good. I love using this so much. Yeah, so line items, we're gonna go ahead. So I need price and quantity. That's the 2 items we're looking for. So the way I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna be a little fancy. We're just gonna do body.map, and then item is going to go ahead in here, and then we're going to just return price is going to be item dot product ID. Is that correct? Yeah, product ID. And then quantity is going to be item dot quantity. We go ahead and do that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've yet to really try Next 13 and really try app directory and all that stuff. And I honestly feel bad. I really want to sit down and try it. I just have not had time because of all the different projects I'm working on. But I really think, like, I don't know, RSCs and all that stuff, from what I've seen in the snippets, it looks really awesome. Like the idea of just being able to go in my React component and just like pull out of the database in a server component, pass that down to a client component and mess with it there, that seems really, really, really clean. Like I know it's got a ton of problems. I know there are bugs. I know it's laggy and they have problems there. But once that really works, it's going to be so freaking good. But I think for right now, certainly Svelte has the best DX on the market, I'd say. I'd say pretty decisively. So session.url is all we need to do here. So now we're going to just do, we're just going to return URL is going to be session.url. Oh, I agree it's a waste of time. That's why I haven't done it. I just enjoy doing this stuff, and that's a lot of the reasons why I pick the tech and things I look at. I was looking back at my old videos, and sort of the origin of this channel and all the stuff I do here was very much like I just like messing with different technologies and screwing around with them and then jumping to something else. So like I have like I think I messed with Remix a while back. I did a video on that and it was great. I really liked it. I think it's, you know, it's a good framework, but you know, diving too deep into it, obviously it's not worth my time because I can solve all the problems with Svelte, which is also the reason why I'm not really using Go right now, is because I can solve all my problems using SvelteKit and this full stack framework. It really doesn't make any sense for me as a solo dev to set up this whole separate server and do all these things, because you just gotta, like, from my perspective, it just isn't worth my time. I need to be faster than that, and it will just slow me down. Okay, so let's just grab the URL, .data, action result. Can I add a type to this? Add a generic URL string. Oh my God, SvelteKit, you beautiful. Oh, oh my God, it's beautiful. Oh, it's so beautiful. And data. So if we've got these two and result.data. Oh, that's so beautiful. Okay, so then now we're just gonna do what's the client side redirect on Svelte? I always forget. Client side redirect SvelteKit. I always forget this. Oh, actually, yeah, maybe we don't even need to do. Maybe this is just kind of dumb, actually. Like, we have all these down here. But actually, maybe all we need to do is just, within our page.server, just throw a redirect. Throw redirect. That's not how you spell throw. Throw redirect session.url, and then we'll do this. Anyone know what the correct 300 code is? I don't know what the correct 300 code is at all. I know it actually matters, but I don't remember which one matters, which one we're supposed to do. Because it's like one of them's permanent, one of them's not, and then it like actually means something. I just don't know off the top of my head. Session.url if we'll do this, we'll throw, and then otherwise we will throw an error, status 500. Yeah, we'll just throw a 500, whatever. This is to do, make these errors not suck. 307, I trust you because I don't know my error codes, and we're going to like an external domain here. We're going to Stripe land, so we'll see. And then I don't really use, well, actually, that's not true. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I don't use GPT. I use it a lot. The reason why I'm not using it here is because this is all stuff that's I've just have done for a long time, so I know how to do all of this off the top of my head. But if we were moving into like some new stuff or some weird annoying logic, I would switch over to GPT. I'm not above using it. Thank you. So we'll just add a thank you page, and then we're going to have a you know what? We don't need a failure page. It'll never fail, right? We'll throw that in the to-do list. Yeah, so all we need to do here is just yeah, I think we don't need to do anything there. I think we can just leave this like this. Because the big thing I want to do is just pull the cart down into our fetch function, do all that stuff. So Temporary mood means it can't be cached. Okay, good. Yeah, I really haven't pushed GPT that far. Like I've yet to do anything super serious with it. Um or try and do it beyond anything just beyond that's super trivial. So I definitely want to try that at some point. Let's hit checkout and see what happens. Look at that, first try. It worked. Very nice. Okay, awesome. So this whole thing just worked. So this is the checkout system for the app. We go through, we pull everything out of our cart, load it into Stripe checkout, and there we are. And we'll collect the billing address and all this stuff to fulfill it, and we'll just use Stripe to keep track of all the people, because this way they don't have to sign in and run all that stuff. But yeah, it worked. No, the live stream's not over quite yet. We still have a lot more stuff to do. There's an admin page I want to get done. We still need to do the webhooks for all of this stuff. I want to do another pass at cleaning everything up. I basically want to get the app basically ready today, at least pretty close to ready, because I want to start filming these videos ASAP. The goal was to have this done, like the whole app built last weekend, but I got completely clowned on by React Native and Expo trying to build for production. It was so bad. I literally spent my entire weekend debugging weird esoteric build errors deep within EAS build and all this stuff. And I learned about gem files. I learned about C++. I learned that it was a tough weekend. So unfortunately this got delayed. So I think today our goal is just going to be to get this running. Because I mean, we've only been streaming for like, what, 45 minutes ish, and we're already like, we already made huge progress. So let's go ahead and yeah, let's go ahead and set up the webhooks, because we need to actually fulfill this when they're done, because we need to save these orders into our database. So let's go ahead and here yep, fulfillment, there it is. Stripe. Okay. Let's split this and let's do Stripe. I think I set up known command status. Wait, do I have the Stripe CLI, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. Stripe log. So this should show us the yeah, no, okay. So over here now, I guess I actually set this up off stream already. So within API/Stripe, we have this guy in here. So this some kind gentleman on Stack Overflow had this thing because I love Stripe and it's been great using this over the years. I've used it for a long time. The most annoying part though is this weird raw body stuff you have to do. Like you have to get this whole thing is just bizarre. Like you have to it's just weird. I spent a long time in Express land trying to get the middleware set up correctly, and that was especially back when I didn't really have any idea what was actually going on when all this happened. I didn't really get that they were just making a post request to my API with some of their own data. So it was pretty bad. But regardless, here we should be able to, let's just event. Let's just console log the event, make sure we're looking okay. Because we need to listen on a certain port. So we need to do Stripe listen forward to. Don't steal my webhook secret, guys. It will definitely work on your computers. Localhost 1. You're working with Flask, Tailwind. Isn't Flask a Python API? I think I've messed with it before, but isn't that not oh yeah, you have to run like Tailwind on Node. Yeah, because that's one of the reasons why when I was messing around with HTMX, I ended up using Uno CSS. Because dude, I don't want to set up Node if I'm gonna be doing like another framework for my full stack. Like if I'm going to be using HTML templates and stuff, I just want to use a CDN to pull my thing in, to pull whatever UI library I'm using in. I do not want to just go in and set up like what's it called? I don't want to set up Node and post CSS and all of Tailwind's annoying bundling stuff, because they don't like it when you use the CDN. They tell you it's bad practice. Now maybe that doesn't matter and you can just get away with it, and who really cares? But like, it just bugs me. So that's why I use like Uno CSS and all that there. But we'll talk about that if we do HTMX stuff soon. Yeah, Pocket Base is really cool. I've gotten so many comments about Pocket Base and stuff because I've been doing a lot with Supabase and Block, the like big thing I'm working on. This is my big React Native project and all this stuff. I'm using React Native and Supabase, and a lot of people were on my case about not using Pocket Base, but the honest truth and reason why I'm not is just because it's like Supabase just has another level of features and it's just so freaking big. I think it's great for like side projects and that kind of thing, but like this is a pretty serious project. We've got dedicated designer, we've got, you know, it's a very real project, and I'm betting on the very mature, very heavily funded technology. Like I think space, where is it? Like, yeah, like I'm just like, I'd rather bet on the $116 million company. Like that's just why I'm here. It just, this makes the most sense, and it's also, the DX is just awesome. So I figure, you know, I'm just gonna use Supabase. Why large scale not using Sqlite? That's a good question. We're actually going to be using Sqlite in this project. We're using Turso for the database itself. Locally, we're able to develop using a local.db, and then in production, we're going to be using Turso. It looks really good, and my first impressions are really strong on it. I think it's kind of a bummer compared to like, I mostly use PlanetScale, and PlanetScale is really, really nice because of the database branching and all that stuff. So I will sort of miss having that stuff there, but for what it is, I think it's gonna be really good. API slash why am I stupid? It's Stripe / Stripe forward to localhost 5173. Oh, okay. We'll add a space in between this. Okay, my webhook signing secret is this. I'm gonna hide this real quick because I have my test keys and my private stuff in my .env, so I don't really want the world seeing that. So we're just gonna do this, paste that in here, and then close that. Okay, there we go. What do you make? Full social network where admin can add events, users can subscribe, blah, blah, blah. SvelteKit, Postgres. Yeah, I could definitely I could see Pocket Base honestly working pretty well with something like SvelteKit or just Svelte, but I could definitely see it having a ton of problems in the next world. Again, I don't, you know, I'm not part of the dunk on Next all the time because it's funny crowd. I mean, it is funny, but I don't think that's particularly useful most of the time. However, I definitely get this sort of argument of like, what's it called? I get why people have problems with it. I've certainly had my share of problems with it. Oh, here, let's turn off autofill. Let's pause. Let's do channel. This is my channel's email, so I don't care if that's public. It already is. With Stripe, for those of you who don't know, you can use a fake credit card in test mode. It's just 42 repeating. 1254 random CVC. Benjamin Davis. Yeah. I don't want to put my actual address in here, so let's just do street What's a address everyone knows? Yeah, sure. 123rd Street, Ocean City. I don't know where this is. I don't live here. I don't know who lives here. It's just a random address. Okay. Yeah, that all looks good. So we hit pay, and let's see what happens. Theoretically, oh, nice, nice. All of these are hitting 200s. Nice. 404 not found. Nice. Found. Yes, it worked. Let's go. Oh, it worked. All right. Yup. Okay, so this is our checkout session. Everything looks good in here. I get it. Success.html isn't found. We're going to go ahead and fix that in our server action real quick here. Cart. Whoops, wrong cart. We want this cart. We actually want page.server. Instead of .html, we'll do this. Yeah, okay, cool. This will work. This will definitely work. So we have our our success, and our cancel, and all this stuff. Awesome. Okay. Man, this is just going way too well. I'm really just waiting for something to happen where we sit here debugging for 15 hours on one thing. Well, Junar, I apologize for doxing you. I did not realize you lived at 123 Street and Salt and whatever it was. I don't even remember anymore, so don't dox him. All right, there we go. Success. Thank you. It worked. And then if we go to our things in here, we go to our balances. Yep, 57 because we just got that. Look at all our payments. Oh, look at that. All this stuff in here. 2 demo Stripe products. All this stuff in here. Everything works. High risk. Man, I guess I'm a high risk. Oh yeah, that's crazy. The data that Stripe has and all that stuff. Like, cause yeah, that's where I put the credit card in. But I'm in Columbus, Ohio. Cause I'm at Ohio State. If any of you are at Ohio State, let me know. But yeah, we're that's crazy. So awesome. So this is all the information we get. Oh, customer information card. Yeah, this is great. So we have everything we need in here. So the thing that needs to happen next is we need to actually fulfill this. We need to fulfill our actual product. So remember, if we go back here to our database, to our schema, we have products, we have product images, we have product reviews. None of that's too important. The key down here are our orders and our order products. So we're basically going to be using Stripe to store all of the information for the customer and have all that stuff for fulfillment. So if you look right, like within our order, all we have is like the order ID and the customer ID. And the order ID is going to be, where is it? That's the payment method. I forget where it is up here. Oh yeah, I think it's just this. I think this is the payment ID. And we can go down here to event data, checkout session, payment intent. So that's the payment intent. This is the checkout session. Okay, I think it is the checkout session that we actually want to hold because, oh God, I haven't actually used Stripe like this before. So you guys get to see me in real time figure things out. Checkout session. That's really not helpful. API. Yeah, let's go to the API. We want to do checkout session because there should be like a get endpoint or something. I am coding with one screen. I just have the one. I guess I have my laptop pulled up over by my camera to the left here so that I can see chat and make sure that the stream is still functioning. But otherwise, yeah, I'm just running this here. Oh, lid. Okay, great. So we can just go ahead in here and get all of our information. So if I went in here, we're just going to run some tests. See, Nick, I used to have 3 monitors. Growing up, I had like 3 big monitors. I had like the full setup and all that stuff. And I ended up putting like Spotify on one of them. And then I guess having 2 was kind of useful for programming sometimes, like having, especially when you're doing front end stuff, I definitely feel like having uh like the actual site over here and then the code here and then hot reloading to get it over there. It is nice, but I just like getting used to one screen because I use my laptop alone all the time. It's really nice. Um, about SvelteKit is a JavaScript library or framework, and how can you learn? So it's both. I mean, Svelte, just plain Svelte is the like client side front end UI library, which will allow you to do state and a bunch of data fetching and a bunch of different things to make your front end better. Um, that is, yeah, that's just the library. Then SvelteKit is the framework that gives you a server, that gives you routing, that gives you all the different things. And I would highly recommend using SvelteKit. It's an amazing dev experience and works really well. Um, Thank you, Miguel. I appreciate it. Um, but here, give me a sec. Let me find. I need to make a video about this. Like the what's it called? Docs tutorial. No, why am I stupid? Yeah, tutorial. Start here. Um, I I go back and forth whether or not like the best way to learn stuff is through videos or through like documentation type things. I appreciate it, man. Um, but like the I think this is a really, really great place to start and learn going through Svelte's built-in tutorial. This is a really, really great tutorial which will take you through all the core concepts. It will really help if you already have some basic HTML knowledge and some basic JavaScript knowledge and certainly some basic programming knowledge. This would be a hard place to start if you've never written code before. But like this will take you through all the core stuff. Like I'll take you through reactivity, props, logic events. Like all of this stuff is really very useful, and then it'll bring you into SvelteKit, and SvelteKit is where you can start building really useful stuff. Because with SvelteKit, you'll get access to a backend. You'll get access to, well, a backend server, routing, all of these super important things which you need to make full stack apps. Like in this app we're using right now, what you see right here, and this is the front end, the like client side stuff, but it's also connected to a big backend server and all that stuff. So, you know, it's very useful. Start with their docs and then go from there is what I'd say. Okay, so let's go ahead and do, I want to run a couple tests here. We're going to do some R&D on Stripe. So API, so we're going to do testing, and we're going to go ahead and do, let's just do plus testing server.ts. Okay, so we're going to do export const get. Do you stop using Golang? I have the exact same stack. I know Go.js, Pure.js. I mean, I respect the Pure.js. Slightly sociopathic, but you know, make your dreams come true. I personally cannot live without types and TypeScript and all that stuff. But the reason why I have not been doing much of any Golang stuff lately, and maybe honestly we might just record this video on stream because I keep getting asked this question and I feel bad I really need to answer it. But the whole reason I'm not using Go is just because the projects that I'm working on, which consist of Insider Viz, Block, projects for this channel like this, I'm actually going to be using this e-commerce store in the real world. We're actually going to be doing stuff. I'm working on a fun little side project with my uncle, and I think I was building this, and I'm like, yeah, this will be a great thing for the channel. Open source it, give it to everybody. I think it'll be great. So I'm working on that, and then the channel. So like everything I'm doing is in startup land, and it's with a very small team or alone. So for me, having 2 separate code bases, having this full Golang backend and having this full SvelteKit full stack thing, it just does not make any sense for me to go ahead and like write all my API routes in Golang over here in a Fiber server and then call those endpoints from my server actions and then use them and then consume them down into my front end. It just ends up being like data proxying. I'm just like calling the backend from my second backend. And I get this weird double backend thing, which just feels really bad and really useful, really useless. So to me, I think the most compelling solution to that is to just do everything in SvelteKit, because these days, with how strong and powerful serverless environments are, and especially with stuff like the Edge runtime or just strong providers like Koyeb or SST getting you straight into AWS, there's no real reason for me to be sitting here and using two backends and Go. Now, in a couple of years, if things go really well and I'm scaling up a team and I'm able to build bigger apps and I can have a dedicated front end team and a dedicated back end team, then hell yeah, I'd love to use Go again. I'd love to have a dedicated Golang backend server that can do all this stuff, have a backend team, a front end team, work that way. But when it's just me writing it, it's just more boilerplate than I need, and it gets rid of a lot of the full stack type safety. So that's just how I feel. Yeah, it's just SvelteKit's easy, it's faster, and it just makes the most sense. Also, yeah, I mean, yeah, you can definitely Pure.js is definitely fine if you're working alone. I think it's slightly sociopathic if you are working with a team. Um, but then again, like kind of insider business filled with that, like these these graphs right here, these are like big D3 graphs. So like there's no type safety on any of this stuff. Like this graph is like over 1,000 lines of code, and I didn't write a lot of it, and it's a giant black box that is hard to keep track of. But you know, it works. So I mean, you know, if it solves the problem, it solves the problem. But yeah, it's not great. Okay, that was a massive tangent. What was I even trying to do? Yeah, that's right. I wanted to do some testing of the Stripe API. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. We're gonna grab our session. We're gonna get our session. We're gonna return. I always forget the get request, post request stuff here on routing. Yeah. Yeah, definitely try different frameworks. I think, Miguel, that is good advice. You know, React still is king, and like it depends on who you are and what you want to do. I mean, if you're sitting here at like, because this is really a terrible hour to be streaming, to be completely honest. Like, but if you're here in like a 16 viewer stream looking at like full stack Svelte apps in a really niche channel, then you're definitely like probably more of the enthusiast type. So you could definitely do something like Svelte. But if you just want to get hired and you just want to have a career, just learn React, man, and it's not that hard to get a job there. Um, no, no, Poon, I don't do much of any styling. I mean, we like on the site we're working on here, this is all just Tailwind. This is just really basic Tailwind that I pulled out quickly. It's nothing. Yeah, it's always confused about server side components and client side components and what's the difference. Yeah, I don't know if there are any really good videos about that. I've thought about making that. The client versus server video is something that that's been on my backlog for an eternity now, like probably since last spring. I've known that I need to make I've known that I need to really badly need to make a video that is going over the difference between the client and the server, where everything is and runs, because these days it's so freaking difficult to figure that out, especially if you're new. If you don't have a strong mental model of REST, HTTP, how these things are going back and forth, figuring out how what's it called? Figuring out how all these different where everything is running can be such a pain, and it's so important. So that's definitely something I need to make. I just haven't done it. Plus server get what's up, Neon? We're gonna go in here, just grab a get request. We're gonna do this, and we're going to clear out all of this. We're going to just do string testing, and then we're going to go ahead, and we don't need request handler because SvelteKit is just a genius. We're gonna do this. We're going to make you async. We're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to replace this with our actual Um, yeah, it's really hard to go back to other things. I was helping out at my old 9 to 5. I was helping them out recently, and I'll help them out again tomorrow on some projects we were working on. And back then we were using the OG T3 stack, which is Next.js pages directory with TRPC, and it's great. It works really well. I don't have much of a problem with it, but it is nothing compared to this stuff. This stuff is so much better than that. Really not a fan when I can be using this. No, you ask more questions. The more questions you ask, the better. It gives me things to talk about and allows me to not completely ramble into oblivion. So, yeah, too many questions. So, microservices I'm working on. Oh yeah, microservices. Yeah, this is that was one of the traps I fell into really early on, where I'm like, yeah, I need microservices. That was a great use of my time. Um, and it's not. You microservices is just like breaking down your backend and app logic into tiny little bite-sized pieces, like having a authentication service where like everything in there will just only handle auth, and then another thing will only handle something else or whatever. And it makes like 15 different projects, and it's such a pain, and it's so not worth your time. But massive companies use it, so we all get tricked into doing that. Um, do I have Twitter? Yeah, I do have a Twitter. I don't really use it, but I do have one. Um, oh, you're using the Mern stack, bro? Dude, I remember reading about the Mern stack in high school. That I don't use it at this point. But yeah, I mean, I know what the Mern stack is. I haven't used Express in forever. We still use MongoDB and InsiderViz, but we're migrating off of it just because it doesn't make that much sense for us. But localhost. What are you yelling at me about, bro? Slash 5173. What? I mean, as far as making the switch, I think that's a question that you have to. Depends on what you're working on. I mean, if you're just doing side projects over and over and over again, yeah, I would switch. But if you like have a serious project that's already built with it, then no, you don't need to redo it. Found me from a really? Yeah, I've always wondered that where um yeah, I don't know. It's Yeah, facts, Spoon. I have gone through that exact thing. Like that was exactly what I went through. That cognitive dissonance of like, yeah, I need to set up K8s and I need to learn how all of these work and I need to do this and that and build all these insane behemoth structures just to end up creating a super basic app. And I've come to the conclusion that it doesn't matter. And I'm just like, I, it doesn't matter, man. Just throw it on Vercel or Koyab or Railway or SST if you really want to go crazy. Like, just throw it in one of these platforms and you're good. Like, these things can scale so hard so far these days. Like, you're just good. Um, I mean, it is cool. Like, don't get me wrong. If you can get K8s to work on GCP, that's really cool. But it's just not worth it. Yeah, like just use a cheap VPS. That's all you need. Scale up a $20 VPS to like a bajillion users and just profit. Like, that's all you have to do. Um, okay, why is it not accepting requests to this? That's probably weird core stuff. Whatever. This should do it though. Testing. Okay, perfect. Favicon ICO. Success URL. Live mode false. Email. Customer. Yeah, awesome. Customer creation if required. Created. Cancel. Yay. Okay, great. So we can pull out our session here and then we can go ahead and do that. Am I using Postman? No, I'm using Thunder Client in my, it's a VS Code extension. I don't like Postman. It's got too many features. Thunder client is literally just a basic HTTP client, which is all I need. I do not care about all the weird collaboration features and fancy stuff that Postman has. I just don't need it. You can use MUI, but I also hate Material UI. It's irrational, but I do just have an irrational hatred of MUI, so I don't use it. And I really don't love a lot of UI frameworks. I made a video a while back being mad at them, but that was just basically me airing a bunch of grievances I was having at work because we were working with like a really annoying library and we're having a bunch of random issues with styling and dealing with the client going back and forth. It sucked. So I just was, but I think, you know, as I've gotten better and sort of grown up metaphorically, I think they're fine. I think stuff like ShadCN is great. I think ShadCN's great. Okay, so that's our payload. So fulfill. Okay, so getting back slightly on topic, we're gonna go do that. What's my age? I'm 21. I am pretty young. Stripe. Is that the right stripe? Why are you yelling at me? Nice. Well, I mean, yeah, this is the age to be messing around with this stuff because you got a lot of time. I mean, at least until the AIs kill us, but I don't think that'll happen. I think expected. Well, I mean, I learned on Mern too. I started doing this in high school. What? Do I not understand JavaScript? Do I like? Is there a serious skill issue here that we are? Can you not? Can you not put declarations in switch cases? Is this just a pure skill issue thing happening right now? I think it is. Whoops, that's on me. But yeah, I mean, the first thing I learned, or one of the first ones, was the Mern stack, because that was, oh god, what was that? I mean, that was like 2019, 2020 range. I kind of grew up watching Web Dev Simplified, Ben Awad, Fireship, and NetNinja. Those were sort of the four that I learned from, and they're all awesome. I've sort of like, it's funny as I've gotten older and gotten better at this stuff, I've almost sort of like outgrown a lot of the other pieces of content where like when they talk about stuff and like Fireship makes a video on a technology, I'm like, hey, I already know all of this and I've already seen all of this. Which is, that's kind of a fun place to be when you get to that point. Like, it's very, over time you'll get better and you'll sort of learn all that stuff. What's wrong with Express? Isn't the, like, again, this might be fake news, but like, isn't the Express core team like not even maintaining it anymore? Like, I think I've heard that from multiple people that like they're not maintaining it. Like, at work, I had to build a standalone JavaScript API last spring, and I didn't use Express. I used Fastify. I would use, what's it called? Oh no, this is a really cool little REST API thing. If you want this, I would try this. That's a really cool one. Yeah, which auth do I use? Yeah, that's one thing I have noticed. Supabase auth is, it's like weird. I don't know how to like explain it, but it's weird. It just doesn't feel quite right. How to import a JavaScript library of some library. Well, is it on npm or is it on like, what are you just importing a raw JS file, or is it on npm? Because if it's on npm, then obviously just install it and import up here. But if it's not, then that's weird. Oh, I didn't know Hono was backed by Cloudflare. That's awesome. Yeah, Lucia. Lucia is what we're actually going to use in this project. Because we're going to need authentication for the admin side of things. I don't maybe we'll add user auth at some point to where they can like track their orders and stuff and make that, but that's just going to be a level of complexity that's going to be such a pain to where like I don't know if it's even worth it. It might just be better to have them send like magic links via email and that kind of thing, which we're also going to be using resend for that. Oh, it's in script. I've never actually messed with that ST. I've never used anything like that, so I couldn't tell you. Yeah, I've seen Firebase auth used with big real projects, and I could see that being good. The rest of Firebase really sucks. Like I don't like document-based databases generally, and I really don't like Firestore document database. But yeah, no, Lucia is just a free open source auth library. It's very similar to what's it called? Like NextAuth or anything like that. Very similar. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense, Matthew. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't pick Firebase at this point. Granted, my very first apps were all in Firebase, so actually, let me see. Is this still up? No, okay. Nope, it's not still up. Sad. That was like one of the first websites. One of the first websites I ever made was React plus Firebase. Was he still using class components back then? That was a time to be alive. Okay, so if we do line items dot data if line items, so if we have line items, we're going to want to go ahead in here and we're going to want to save into DB, and we're going to want to do this. Which DB? I'm actually using Sqlite. We're using Turso Sqlite in here. Yeah, that's correct, Nick. Okay. Server data. Let's make orders.ts. I'm wrapping all my DB calls in like functions and stuff, just so that I don't have a bunch of DB calls in my page.servers and in my page.servers. It's not necessary. You could just run all of them in there, but I think it's nice to encapsulate it. And someday, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that we're going to be setting up unit testing for this. We're not. But if you wanted to, you could. And it would be a good thing to have and encapsulate this logic. So this is going to be create new order. We're going to go ahead and do data is going to be, let's hit this, and then let's do schema. I need to get the schema to see what we need in here. We need, okay, so we just have an auto incrementing ID. We probably could have just, this honestly should probably be the primary key. Like the Stripe order ID. Because the order ID is the, that's the checkout session ID. Yeah, we do. The Discord is linked. It's somewhere in the channel. Oh, hey Dev, what's up? What do I think of Bun? I think it's sick. And I think I was using it on this, but I switched over to PNPM for something. Some package was not working with the runtime, and I spent way too long dealing with it. But yeah. Let's see. So for the order, do I want to fix this? Yeah, let's fix this now. Okay. So this, there's no reason to make this the primary key. Let's make the Stripe order ID the primary key. Dot primary key. And then we're going to go ahead and do, yeah, we have all that right here. Then we need to flip over here to the order product. This does have to have an auto incrementing primary key because the product ID will not be unique because multiple users can buy the product. So we just have this order product. And then, yeah, we also don't even have order ID is text. and that's going to be order ID, and then that needs to reference order dot stripe ID. Yeah, because that can just be the primary key. Yeah, it should be in about channel, the Discord and all that stuff. Yeah, I've been gone for a while, but I'm able to I'm getting back into doing this. I have a ton of videos that I need to edit and put out over the next few days and weeks. Got a lot of stuff that needs to be done there. Finish up this series, get back into everything. But yeah, I'm very excited. So yeah, definitely join the Discord. It is in there. Okay, so we do this. Is there anything? Oh yeah, I'll make this changes as well. For the product image, we should store the width and height as well. With integer dot not null. Oh yeah, I edit and run all this stuff by myself. I'm completely doing all of this on my own. Which I really probably should. I would love to work with an editor or something like that and figure that out. But I think the way I see it is I don't think I'm good enough yet to where I should be doing that, because my sort of view on it at this point is I shouldn't outsource anything until I'm confident that I'm good enough at doing it by myself. And I don't think my edits are good enough to where I can comfortably outsource it. Yeah, for sure. Thanks for hanging out, Miguel. So eventually we'll add that. So we'll do order ID is a string, then we need the customer ID is a string, and then we need the total price, which is just going to be a number. That should be in here, right? Yeah, for sure. Where is it? Currency USD. Yay, amount total. Great. So we have amount total is in there. Is it in the system like I had? 6,000. 6,000 divided by 100, that's 60. Yep, perfect. All right, see ya. What do you think is the problem with Go? Why not many projects use it? Because the full stack experience of Svelte and a lot of these meta frameworks is just so good. Really think I should just record I need to make this Go video. I get this question so much. Yeah, I know. This is probably the worst possible time to be streaming. At noon in the middle of a workday is a terrible time to be doing this. I was just working on this regardless, and I figured I might as well just go live to document what I'm working on here. I will try and find better times to do this. I assume the evenings would be a lot better for most people, because I just looking at viewer numbers and stuff like that, I'm sure it's just a bad time in general, because this is a really low engagement time. Oh, okay, so total price timestamps. No, it's actually not, Dev. I tried this a while ago, way back when. I did this back in January. But this is the first time I've done it since in a very long time, and it's also first time I've been back in a while. Yeah. I think nighttime is just so much better. Yeah, I don't think it's terrible, but I mean, to be honest, when I was streaming back when I had 2 or 3K subs, and I had I was averaging close to 100 views. Oh, well, yeah, of course Prime's gonna pull absurd numbers. But that's just how it be. But I think also, Dev, you streamed on Twitch, right? How does that work too? Because that's something I was looking at too. I might end up making that, because I think I'm gonna try and start streaming more, just because it's good. I think it'll just help keep me productive and do stuff here. and a lot of the stuff I'm working on is super open source anyway, so I might as well stream it. Just because why not? Oh, sick. Okay, so you can co-stream on both. Okay, nice. I'm not on Twitch. At some point I might be. I haven't decided. It is kind of nice, like working and just having a sort of people to talk to. Keeps me semi-productive at least. Okay. And product equals await db dot insert order. This is actually a new order. Oh yeah, purely through the raids and that kind of thing. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see that for sure. Files first. To as far as security on websites, honestly, I think open sourcing them, in my opinion, increases security, because I think if people can see it, they can pretty comfortably just tell, like they can, like oftentimes you'll get, like you can get bad actors, but you can also get good actors, so it cuts both ways. And I think you can find more vulnerabilities that way, and also just the way a lot of things work these days, like most security issues that people run into are like social engineering, hacking type things. It's not usually as big of a deal for the other stuff. Does this get inserted ID? I forget. Nice. Okay, last inserted row ID. Is this a real project? No, well, it is a real project. It's not for a client, it's for myself. But I'm actually building this e-commerce store. I'm going to actually use this. I mean, it's a silly side project type thing, but I'm working on it with my uncle, and we're just like, I figured, you know, if I'm going to build this anyway, I might as well open source it, and I might as well just give it to everybody here and just make some good content on it. So that's what I'm doing with this. So yeah, this whole thing will actually be used in production, which I think will make it really cool. I think it'll be really sweet to have all that stuff out there. Advantages between MySQL and SQLite. MySQL has a bajillion more features, but let's not sit here and pretend that most of us need all those features. At the end of the day, I need to store a bunch of text and integers in tables in a database, and SQLite does that great. Why is Svelte better than React? Because it objectively is. No, just because the meta framework's better in my opinion. But I still need to try RSCs. I still haven't done it yet. Okay, so we get the last inserted ID. So yeah, let's just return last inserted row ID. Whoops, this, and then let's go back to server, to our Stripe. So we're going to go ahead and save our order. So const order ID equals await. I built my blog in SvelteKit, but enjoy. Oh yeah, Astro. Yeah, dude. Where is it? This is an Astro site. I actually, originally this was written in Next, but this is actually completely built in Astro, and it's freaking awesome. I'll see you, hip. Yeah, well, Zod is awesome too. I think you can use that for like form data and that kind of thing. I haven't set that up yet. Okay, what did I call that? Create new order, and then that's going to be the data. It's going to commit session with line items. Whoops. Okay, so whoops. It's just this order ID is going to be session with line items dot ID, and then it's actually checkout session ID. It's not named properly. I'm going to need to note a lot of this in the documentation. Been using React for a long time, but I'm afraid to move to Next. Should I try SvelteKit? I don't know, man. Like, depends again on like what you're trying to do. If you just want to get hired, then yeah, just do React. But if you want to just learn more stuff and mess with stuff, I think you're going to learn a lot more about the web in general with SvelteKit. I think it uses a lot more of the core features of it. Yeah. Actually, Polyglot, having to manually write out types, that's another big reason why I'm not using Go anymore, because you'd have to manually type both sides of the REST API, and it's so nice to just not have to do that. Like, export let data just knows what I have, and it's so much better. Details dot. Does it really not have the customer ID in here? Crap, I don't know if the customer ID is built into this pull. That kind of sucks. Okay, okay, let's look at the API. I mean, there's still a very good reason to learn Golang, and that's just because it's fun and you'll learn stuff. Like, I think it's absolutely very valid to learn it and very valid to mess around with it. I think that's a great thing to do. It's just not as needed. Okay, checkout session. How do I get the customer ID from a checkout session? That is the $1 million question here. What can we expand? More attributes. Yeah, I'm on Wi-Fi. This is actually part of why I haven't streamed a huge amount, Abby, is because my internet sucks. Like, I have 2 different internets that I can kind of try between. I have like the 5G Verizon thing and then a cable that's all the way across my apartment. So my internet really sucks. Yep, Polyglot, that's exactly where I am. I don't know. I think the HTMX hype is honestly worth it. Which might be a weird thing to say, but I really think that it's like, I think the what's it called? Oh, fire. Okay, it's expandable. I think the HTMX is honestly worth learning. Which I know it gets memed on a lot, but I think it's really, really, really sick. And I want to make some videos on it. I think I mess with it in Golang, and I want to take my it is insanely different. And like here, we'll tangent real quick because this is actually, wait. Sorry. We'll tangent a second here. Customer what is this? The ID of the customer dot, yes. Perfect. Okay, all right, we'll come back to that in a second. But let me show you guys some of my HTMX adventures. CD dot dot, where was it? Oh yeah, I did it with Insider Viz. I'm still trying to figure out what the actual fuck I'm gonna do with this site. Schema.sql insights. Yeah, I think it was code insights. Yes. Okay. No, that's the wrong one. That's the Python. It is code Is it? No, maybe it's not. I'm doing the front end e-commerce side. Well, if you're using an external service, then it's a whole different game. Like what I'm working on right here is just purely full stack, doing it myself. Dashboard. Yes, here it is. Okay, this is whoops. Okay, well you can't see the full DSN. Hopefully that's not a problem. Center Viz forms. Let's turn you back on. Docker's another thing too I recommend learning. Yeah, so right here, this guy, this is a like a little HTMX Golang app. So let me see if I can get this to work. It'd be really hype if this did work. It'll take a second to build here. Yeah, so we go ahead and take this. Oh my god, it worked. So this right here is a nice little HTMX app. Oh, it's because it's on my different Google account. X pop. Yeah, the Stripe API is amazing. I'll talk about Docker in a sec, but this is a full little HTMX site. So instead of in SvelteKit and all these different frameworks and stuff that we're used to in JS land, where we'll like go into like on our what's a good example? Yeah, the products page. So we go to our products page and we go to this right here. Here we're like pulling data down and then we like print out all the data. We have this load function where we fetch all of our products and do all that stuff. And we're sending JSON down to like hydrate it in on the front end. With HTMX, we're actually going through and we're returning HTML directly. So on this slash root, what we're doing is I'm pulling from the database. I'm getting some forms from the database. So we're just doing raw SQL here, yelling at me if it doesn't work. Then I render the index page. I pass in my name and some forms to layouts / main. Oh wait, no, that's just the layout. I haven't looked at this in a minute. And then I pass in to the index page. So I render my index.html and I just print out all this stuff. So I just have, it's like actual HTML templates. So you're just writing basic HTML and then hydrating it with a bunch of data, and all of that hydration happens on the server. And then if you want to like make requests and stuff, you can do all that stuff. See you, Neon. It was good having you here. And then you can like up here in the search box and that kind of thing. I think I have that within my layouts. Yeah, my header. The search, when you hit search, we like post to the search thing. So I think if we did like, I don't know if this will work. Yeah, so I hit test and what it'll do is it will like set my it'll go ahead and like fire to the search endpoint. So within my Golang app, I have this post request, which is a search. It'll go through, run the search, and then it will render out. It'll send back the search results. It's a partial. And then I take this search results partial and I stick it right here. So I stick that underneath my thing. It's really weird and it's really, really, really different. But I think it's kind of cool. And I think if you're really dead set on using Go, I think you got to learn how to use this. I know it gets shilled on Twitter a lot, and I know it's completely memed into the ground, but I think it's pretty cool. I think there really is something behind it. But yeah, it's literally swapping them out. Like you're literally swapping out HTML. Like I have like an empty div hidden here, and then when you hit this, it like swaps it out, and then you hit this, and then it would go to a different page. So I was working on this. Trying to figure out what I want to do with Insider Viz. Really heavily considering just open sourcing it and just full sending it. Because why the fuck not? And then building something on top of it and trying to run that business model. But that's also a really hard business model to run. So I don't know. I don't know what makes the most sense. So we need the line items and line items dot customer. Okay, console.log customer. Okay, so what is this customer? So it's a Stripe customer. So the ID of the customer. So then is this, can I just .toString this? I haven't ever relied this heavily on Stripe for this stuff before. Ooh. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Is it possible to deploy that kind of Golang app to Vercel? I don't know if it's possible to deploy any Golang apps to Vercel. I think that they do a bunch of like native binding stuff into with all these frameworks. So I don't know if we can do. I don't know if that's possible. Oh, it is. Okay. Well, according to dev, it is. I'm not sure how it works. I've never tried. A lot of them work. I mean, they all kind of work. Oh yeah, total price. Okay, so good. It's yelling about me. Amount total. That should be number or 0. Okay, and we don't actually need the order ID because we already have that here. So we create our new order, and then now we need to go through and save the products. So now we're going to go in here. Oh, well, that makes a ton of sense. Okay, so you can deploy Golang functions and they go into lambdas, which makes a lot of sense. Ow. God. Oh, dude, what is wrong with my shoulder? Ow. Okay. So now we need to go ahead and let's go back to our orders and let's do export const create new order product. It's async. I don't know if this pattern even makes a ton of sense, if I should just be running all the Drizzle code in there, but it feels like, I don't know, it feels like I should be switching, like sort of separating these out a little bit, at least, to just make it slightly easier to mess with, but who knows. So this is a string, then the product ID is a string. So that, yep. Product.stripe ID, perfect. Quantity, that's a number. And then this is going to be this. It's going to be, it's either placed or that's not how you spell fulfilled. I mean, I can't spell period, but okay, I guess it is. We're good. Then on any page. Yep, polyglot, that's pretty much exactly my reasoning behind yeah, that's why I like using full stack JS. It just is nice. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and just do product insert. We're gonna go into the order product table dot values, and then it's just going to be, grab this, product ID is data dot. Actually, I think I can just literally do data, right? Yeah. Okay. We don't even need the spread operator. We can just pass in data. There we go. And then return and product dot last inserted row ID. And awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. ChatGPT. You know, I'm proud. This entire stream have not opened GPT once, and we have not had any major, complete, massive errors yet. 0. I don't even use Copilot anymore. I actually turned Copilot off. Because I really liked it. I don't know. Length. ++. It just ended up giving me garbage. Do you feel any difficulty switching context between coding and talking with us? Yeah, I'm not particularly productive right now, but it's, you know, it's okay. So const item equals session dot. I don't want to have to type that out every time. Dot data. Reason I'm using a for loop is because we're doing async stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and then just await. Create new order product, and then we're going to go ahead and pass in here the product ID is going to be item dot ID. The amount or quantity is going to be item dot quantity. The order ID is going to be the session items dot ID. And finally, the status is just going to be placed. And then we're going to go ahead and set the quantity to be at least 1. And once all of that is done, I think we should have fulfilled all of our products. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure my database is pushed to. Do I prefer full SvelteKit or SvelteKit plus Golang backend? Full SvelteKit. And I think I do actually have a video directly on that. Anyone here? Glad they did a different tech domain before coding. Well, I grew up doing coding, so I've never really done anything outside of this. But oh yeah, Polyglot. Those little tools and stuff you make would be, those are great. Like, make those like open source, put them on GitHub, and like send them in the Discord and that kind of thing. Like, that's good stuff. Make those. Yeah, RSI, of course. I need to do more. Okay, whoops, that's part of the .env. Don't want to share that. Got my inputs for that. Yeah, Zod schemas. We need to throw some cool Zod stuff in here too. Do some nice validation type shit. Where is it? It's in my package JSON. Generate, push. Yes. PNPM. Yes, that's why I switched to PNPM. Is the libsql, the Turso thing requires, it doesn't work on Bun yet. That's why I did it. Yes. Destroy the table. No. Okay, let's just go ahead and do this. Let's delete our local DB. And let's run push. Okay, nice. So now we have our local DB. And then we actually have, Drizzle's pretty awesome. We're going to do pnpm run studio. And we're going to get our little Drizzle studio. They tell you it's in beta, but is any software not in beta anymore? There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead to product. I also need to use, I'm using Cloudinary for the images. Hit this. Let's log in. Log in with Google. Or maybe, I think I did GitHub. I don't remember. Where am I based? I'm in Columbus, Ohio. So I'm a student at Ohio State. If you've heard of that, Ohio State University. I assume if you know anything about football, you've definitely heard about Ohio State. Okay, Svelte E-Commerce, perfect. Media Explorer. I have some like basic images in here. What UI library am I? It's literally just Tailwind, man. And I appreciate the compliment, but I would not go so far as to say that um this is really the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. This is just this. Do I play foot? No, I appreciate the compliment, but no, I do not play football. I lift a lot of weights, but I lift 6 days a week, but I don't do any of that stuff. Oh, nice, you're from Scotland. I have a couple of friends from Scotland actually. Um, that's hype. I thought about traveling too. I want to go like to across the world and do some different stuff over the next couple of years, but I'm still in school part time, trying to figure out exactly what I want to do and all that stuff. So for now, we're okay. Um, okay, home, products, product catalog, demo Stripe product. Let's make another product too, so that we can have more of these. I think it's price. That was the price ID we want. Right? Oh god, I don't remember actually. Line items. Um let's actually run a test real quick to make sure that I'm doing everything correctly. Um yeah, the cost of living would definitely be nice in different parts. Um I mean, it's honestly where I am right now for I live in like student housing and stuff, so it's really not that bad. But it's, obviously it's not perfect. Let's run that get request then. Okay, please tell me this works the way I think it does. Line items. Okay. Then we want to do session.lineItems.data. We want to print that out. We're gonna hit this. Quantity 1, price. Oh, okay. So oh, okay. Yeah, I think I see the problem here. So there are a bunch of different IDs. So let's just make a little markdown here. A list of all the Stripe IDs that matter. Because we're going to be using Stripe all over this project, and I need to keep these straight, and it'll also be helpful for everyone else to keep these straight. So the first one is going to be line item ID. Line item ID, and that is going to be the ID of a line item in Stripe checkout, and it will be in the format of li this dot dot dot. Okay, so we have line item IDs. Then from the page.server, call those routes. Well, the way you can call the routes in the page.server file, or well, yeah, page.server, you can do like the form actions and stuff like that, which works really well. What I study, take a guess as to what I study. The answer will absolutely shock you. D Stripe. Self, and then that's going to be price. Yes, that's right. Let's see. Actually, we should probably format these better. Get these marked down. I want to, because this will be useful to everybody, hopefully. Price ID, product ID, yeah. And then prod, is that, yep, so it's product. And then checkout, yeah, so CS. Yeah, the front end masters is really, really good. Yeah, is the lag bad? I apologize. I might run I have a 60-foot Ethernet cable that I could run from here to the router, which would probably make it better, because right now it does really suck. Key product. Yeah, because that's the checkout ID. Because we go up here, we have ID. This is the checkout session. And honestly, the checkout session is all we need to store. So that's what we need to store here. Okay. So these are the important Stripe IDs. So we're gonna need to do. Oh yeah, of course, Polyglot. Yeah, I'm computer science. I'm computer science and engineering. Do they cover design? No. You can take design classes, but I haven't. And yes, I'm streaming over Wi-Fi, and my router is the little Verizon 5G box, and the cellular is pretty bad here, so it's really terrible streaming quality. Yeah. I never went to uni. I mean, I go back and forth. To be brutally honest with you, I don't even fully know if I'm going to finish school. It's I don't know. I go back and forth all the time on whether or not it's worth it. Price ID, Stripe, product ID. Product ID. Product ID should be the primary key, actually. And this guy back here should be not null, and then this should be Stripe price ID. Okay. Why did I decide on Turso? Because I haven't used it for anything serious and I wanted to play with it. That's honestly the reason. I've already used PlanetScale in tons of big production projects. I use Supabase in a big production project. I just don't have a huge use for it, so I'm like, well, let's just use that. Yeah, Polyglot, you are exactly right. I literally got I got a full-time, full-level job last November because I just sent them the insider viz code base, crushed the interview, and then it was pretty easy. You don't need a CSD degree to get a great job. I think, to me, I would say getting the degree is useful if you want to go into like super high level like research or something like that. Like my cousin got his master's in AI, and he's doing research. He's going back for a PhD, which makes a ton of sense. I think my roommates and friends are going to do the same. But for me, I want to do more product stuff, and I just kind of want to work and build shit, and it doesn't do a huge amount for that. We had a web dev class in university last year, and we learned Rails. Like they taught us Rails and a bunch of like old random stuff, which is just not useful anymore. So it's like, I just don't see, it's not necessary. I'll tell you that for sure. Oh yeah, I mean, of course, I'm not fully on the like college is always stupid and a waste of time train. I think it absolutely has a place. I think more people go to college than they should. I think not everyone needs it. And I've met a lot of people where I'm like, I don't know why you're not just working already. But if you want to cut people open as a doctor, you need to go to school. Like you need to go go to medical school and all that stuff. Um, but to write HTML, come on, man, you don't need to do it. So Stripe customer ID, Stripe order ID, which this is really the checkout Mission ID. I'll just leave that note in there. So order ID, and then we'll just do Stripe product ID. Okay. So fixed all that stuff. Let's go ahead in here and hit push. Oh, oops, let's turn this off. Let's delete you. So one nice thing about Sqlite is my database is just a file. It's this little local.db. Yep, polyglot, that is true. There's I noticed that growing up too a lot is you don't really realize all the opportunities and things you can do when you're younger that you can now do. You can learn so much from YouTube. Like I've pretty much everything I'm doing here, all the stuff on YouTube, all of the stuff I did at work, all the stuff I'm building, it's all self-taught. Like I've never taken a class at school on how to use Stripe and how to use Svelte and how to write UIs and how to read docs and all that stuff. I just learned it on my own. And the fact that you can do that these days is awesome. I can do so much, but it's just like, not everyone can, which does suck too. Stripe product ID. Okay, that looks better. So now we're gonna have to just go through all of these and fix all of our different order ID. Okay, all of those are correct. These are not correct. Stripe product ID, and then for Stripe. Oh yeah, if you guys aren't familiar with Drizzle yet, huge low-key benefit you'll get is you're gonna have to learn what a left join and a right join and how joins work. You're gonna have to learn about those, which is what I had never really done before. And it is gonna make you such a better developer to where you have to figure out what the hell left join means. You do admittedly have to do some like annoying stuff to get it all to work, but you'll learn a lot. So we just want product ID. We also want Stripe price ID. And that's going to be result 0.product because we need that price ID. Price ID. We need both product and price ID. Because line items does include that, right? I think it did. Line items, it's that object. We're screwed if it doesn't. Yes, product. Okay, it includes product ID and price ID. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Where does the bug for learning come from? I've just liked computers for a long time. What's up, Frank? I have not implemented anything from Joy of Code. I love his videos. I think they're awesome. If there's he's definitely on the list of like channels where I would really recommend to other people. I actually should make like a list of that. Not like a video or anything, but just have like a text document of people I recommend. Like people like Joy of Code is awesome. Like more unknown. Joy of Code is great. I think Dev is really great. Who else? Anthony in the Golang world, he's really great. There's a lot of really awesome smaller channels. Product. Yeah, Hanabyte. That's another really good one. Let's see. Yep, that works. Earn ID. Stripe product ID. But as far as like the whole bug for like learning and that kind of thing goes, I've just always really liked tech and that kind of thing. And I know that's cliche as fuck to say, but it's true. Like when I was like, I think it was in like 5th or 6th grade when I was like 10 or 11, I built like a drone for the first time, which was super hype. I like learned when I was younger, I was super into like drones and that kind of thing. Stripe product ID and then Stripe price ID. So yeah, I built a drone. It was like the DJI F450. Full stack is also really hard. Stripe product ID, Stripe price ID string. Yeah, I'm sure you could. AI is the biggest thing that I have not spent a huge amount of time learning about. I've not done enough research into, and it keeps me up at night. Every once in a while I will have just nightmares about the fact that I'm not learning about AI because I know I should be. Mm-hmm. Yep, GPT is great. Okay. Okay, so we get the product ID and the price ID, and we pull those in. Product ID, price ID, Cloudinary ID. Yep. This whole like method is really complicated, and I feel like I might be overcomplicating it, but I think like the format that you get out of results when you do a left join like this, like I want to collapse it into like the double object thing, and it just makes more sense. Um, um oh yeah, the GPT sometimes it'll give you weird context. I get weird context out of them sometimes, which is annoying. Okay, I think everything looks okay in here. Now for the cart, this should actually be price ID. Okay, nice. Because we don't need to, yeah, we just need to hold the price ID. We don't need to hold anything else. So now on our cart, page.server.price ID, we're gonna grab that guy. All that looks good. So we just, yep, that's all we need to grab there. Then within our products page here, we need to, item data is going to be price ID. It's going to be price ID dot stripe price ID. And then within the product card, we're going to want to switch this to being, where are you yelling at me? Oh, we should actually add one more thing here. Cloudinary ID and product ID string. And then we can go back to having UB product ID. Any plans to make content on the cloud infrastructure and DevOps side of things? I've thought about it, but I don't think that I'm the right guy to make that content. I don't think that's should be me. Realistically speaking, I don't spend enough time doing it or writing it to where I think that I have anything particularly intelligent to say about it. So for my as far as my sort of perspective on that is to just use whatever Vercel or whatever provider you're using gives you and call it good. So you probably not. Item data, add to cart, item data, and that will have the price ID. That's correct. ID and product. Okay, I think I might have fixed everything there. I'm not fully sure. Stripe server.ts, saving all my line items. Oh, I think that those are probably wrong. Create new order product. Customer ID, order ID. Yep, those are both right, actually. Yeah, product ID. Okay, oh yeah, that's the one thing that we need to make sure is correct, is in the server item. That's actually not the right ID. It should be dot price dot product dot. What is product here? Dot toString. Okay, that should work. I want to do an app where I don't have their data. Oh yeah, like some of the cool distributed database. I remember seeing the Fireship video on that one. I've never used it, but it looks pretty cool. Order product ID. That's product ID. Product.stripe ID. ID is auto-generated. Stripe product ID. Yeah, I mean, everything I feel like is correct here. Okay, why don't we test this real quick? Oh, which for loop? This one? Yeah. I don't know what the best way to format it is, though. Like, I don't know. I mean, I think it works. Like, you'd maybe pull this out to make it a little less verbose and long, but all we're doing is just creating each of the new order products. I guess you could pass this data in and, like, just have, like, a create many or something instead of doing it here, but it works. Okay. So let's start with products. So our first product right here. How can we make open source contribution in React? Well, it got deleted. I'll wait if you have something else you want to add it to. I have some ideas on that. Nice. So this is going to be our product ID. And then this is going to be our price ID. And then our price is going to be 30, so that'll just be 3,000. The name is going to be demo stripe product. The description is going to be a test product. The first test product made. Testing. Awesome. So we'll just insert that guy right there. And then let's go ahead and add another one here. So we're going to go into Stripe. So the flow with this is, since we're so tightly coupled to Stripe, if we want to make a new product, we're going to have to make this like my second product. And then image. What images do we have? I can make it the thumbnail. There's some screenshots from Block. Oh, let's make it my test out certification. That's a fire image. How do we make open source contribution in web dev? It depends on what you want to contribute to and work on. Let me, actually, I don't think I need to hide this. It should be hidden. Resume. I'll go back to pausing. I don't know. I haven't done a huge amount in open source land, so I don't know if I'm the best person to ask or talk to about that. But yeah, I don't know. Well, Polyglot, yeah, it was great. For sure. Definitely join the Discord or something. Have a nice day too. I'll see you guys later. Staying product. Secondary, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Product code, yeah, we can leave it there. Standard pricing, let's make this one 40. So that'll be 40 USD. One time standard pricing. Save product. Okay. So we have that one now. So this is our second one. We're going to go head back in here. We're going to set our product ID to be this. we're going to go back in here and we're going to set our pricing ID to be this. We're going to set our price to be 4,000 because it's in cents. Then we're going to go ahead and set our the name to be my second product. Second, and I'm losing my voice already. I did not realize just talking for 2.5 hours straight just loses your voice. Okay, second test product, save on change, bop bop. And now let's go ahead and do product image. Let's go ahead in here and do, oh, we got to go to Cloudinary to get these. So this one, public ID, we're going to copy this. This will go in here, add record, Cloudinary ID will be this. Our images, yeah, I don't know. Again, Cloudinary ID should probably be the primary key, but whatever. I don't feel like switching it. Product ID is going to be, let's do it on my second product. Width, we'll set this to 300 by 300. It's not the correct dimensions. We're not really optimizing anything right now. Let's add another record. And let's go back over here to Cloudinary. Let's go back to here. We're going to go ahead and what's this? Oh. Let's go ahead and just take yeah, let's use Cloudinary sample 5. That's a good one. Cloudinary sample 5. Cancel. Let's just copy this guy. Let's go ahead in here. Let's set our Cloudinary ID to be this. Our product ID will be, we have, let's go back to our products. Nope. Back to products. This one, we want to grab this right here. Product ID will be this. Width will be 300. Height will be 300. And we will save our changes and we are good. Okay. So we have our images, reviews we will handle later. Now we have our price in there. So now, hypothetically, well, that's block. We don't need to look at that right now. Whoops. Hypothetically, if we go back to our guy right here, if we do pnpm run dev, we hit this, we have that open now. We can go back to our home page. We have everything reloaded back in here. Go to products, and there it is. Awesome. So now our 2 products are in here. Let's add each one to cart. Add. Go to our cart. Let's remove these 2. We just want these 2 in our thing. Refresh this. Everything looks good. Let's hit checkout and see what happens. Okay, 70. Let's just go ahead and do bmd.yt.channel@gmail.com. Let's do 42424242424242. 1244 123. Full name on card is just going to be Benjamin Davis. Address will be what comes up here. I'm just putting in random addresses. I don't live here. I don't know what this is. I'm just putting in random addresses. Okay, and hit pay. Let's see what happens. If anything explodes. Hit check. It hit success. I'm seeing nothing but 200s right here. Let's go back to Drizzle Studio. Let's hit plus. Let's go to our orders. Let's see if anything happened in here. Okay, we didn't get any orders. That's unfortunate. Did we even get a payment intent? Payment intent succeeded. Checkout session completed. What is going on over here? $10 EBB. So, I mean, it came back with a 200, but nothing got created. Well, guess we're in debugging mode. It's been too easy so far, so I guess now it has to be difficult. I bet it's something to do with our customer. I bet it's not there. Okay. Okay, yep, so let's go ahead and just run back through that flow. So I assume it did show up here, though. We should have payments. Yep, it did work here. So everything did show up. Okay, well, the Stripe side of everything is working just fine. We just need to go ahead and add cart. Oh, it doesn't clear the cart. That's honestly a big thing we should do real quick. Let's go to our success page. Thank you. Let's do script, and let's do clear cart. Literally just when you land on it, we'll clear out your cart. So that's just a good thing to add. And then we'll go to checkout. And then let's just save that. Actually, I don't want to put that in there. Email.com. That's got to be a fake email. 4242 4242 34 123 Benjamin Davis. And then there we go. Just fake addresses. Okay. Now there's this. So now we're going in here. Line items list. Customer email null. Customer details. Customer is null. That's the problem. Okay, so I think we need to do we need to change a thing within our checkout session. The checkout session object, sessions, post to sessions. Okay, so line items, mode, payment setup, subscription, return URL, success URL, customer. If in payment mode, we want to. Okay, always. We want to always create a customer. That's, I think, what we're missing. So we go back to our Stripe, our server. Let's go back in here. Let's do, oh, that would actually be within the data cart page.server. That's going to end up being payment automatic text throw. Payment customer creation always. Okay, awesome. So now the customer will have to be created, and theoretically it should now work. So let's go back to our cart, empty. Go back here, add to cart, back to cart, checkout. There we go. And give it a second to load. All right, BMD. Okay. Now, hopefully this will process correctly. Everything should go through. Nice, nice. Check here. Let's make sure customer is not null. Customer creation. Yep, there we are. There's the customer. Awesome. Yes. Okay, ID. Customer.id. So theoretically, if we go into Drizzle Studio, this should have some. Yes! It has that in there. Okay. This fucked up. So we will have to fix this. This is incorrect. But everything else is looking okay. Order product. Yep, they ordered 2. CS test. Yep, that's part of that session. Placed, all that stuff. Okay, awesome. All right, so the only thing we need to fix here is this customer ID. That got screwed up. So then that just means customer.id. So it's just fake news, the types on there, it looks like. Customer ID, yeah, it's not customer, it's customer.id. Like, what are you talking about? The type is wrong. Okay, let's do const customer equals session line items dot customer as stripe dot customer. We want to pull out their stripes types stripe dot customer. Yep, okay. It's just types being weird. So we're just gonna do this and then do this. And now, all right, awesome. So with all of that done, we should be able to, let's go ahead and clear all this out. Let's go to order products. Let's delete these two. Delete. Let's go ahead here and let's delete this. And then once this is done, then the core backbone of orders and all that stuff will be done. Where am I from? I am from Ohio. I am a student at Ohio State University right now, so Columbus, Ohio. All this stuff looks good. Let's go here to payments. Let's go back to, yeah, all these payments succeeded. Let's go back to the site itself. Let's go to our products, add, cart, checkout. Let's go ahead in here and let's put in testing at gmail.com. 42424242. Hit the address. Oh yeah, I worked full time from November until September of this year. I worked full time. I worked at an app agency. I was a full backend developer, and I left because I'm going back to school. But yeah, I have worked full time. We did like not Express, sorry. I worked with Fastify, full T3 stack, a bunch of different stuff. I just worked remotely. It was very good. But want to get back to school, and I don't love remote work at all. Should work here. Nice. Now if we go back to Drizzle Studio, if we go to our orders, beautiful. It worked. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Product ID, and then we have all this information we need in here, and we're good. Let me make a couple utility functions, and then, yeah, I'm gonna make a couple utility. What time is it? Yeah, I might call it at that point. I'll make a couple utility functions and then call it, because it's getting close to like 3 hours ish, and we've got the core functionality of the site done, which is what my big goal for the day was. So now that that's done, we can start looking at stuff. I can honestly even start making some videos and that kind of thing. So we're looking good there. So server, let's do data. Let's do stripe.ts. Let's do export const get product ID equals async. Hit this. Deploying SvelteKit app onto AWS. I might do something like that using either SST or like flight control or something like that. But I have had enough bad experiences and I have learned the hard way that it's not worth manually deploying to AWS yourself. It's just not. So I don't think I'm going to do that. Products. Oops. Get product by ID. Product.retrieve. String. And return product. Yeah, I mean, it's true. There is not a huge amount of content. Well, there's not a huge amount of good AWS content out there just because, and the reason for that is because it's such a pain to work with and it's borderline, it's hard to justify using sometimes. Oh yeah. Stripe, the webhooks are all set up already. I've got these all running and working. The SvelteKit API is handling the webhooks and all that stuff. And the database is all set up and running. We're using Turso and all that stuff. So yes, all of that is done and set up. Actually, let's go back here and do it's under API Stripe the server. So this is the webhook endpoint right here. We can close this. We don't need that open anymore. Session with line items. Yank. Comments session equals paste. And then return session. And then we're going to go back here and we're going to do the session ID. Awesome. Get checkout session. Export const get customer equals async customer ID string. Customers, and we're gonna want to do this. I want to grab this guy right here. Pop. Customer ID, and then finally return customer. Okay, so yeah, those are the cool basic ones. What is React? It's not what we're using here. Yeah, I feel the exact same way. It's hard to go back to like Next and React and all that stuff when you've been using SvelteKit or any of these other frameworks for a while. It's just so much better. But yeah, no React here. We're just doing this whole thing is full stack Svelte. It's actually this is fully open source too. I think I don't know if I have a link for it in the description yet. I'll probably go back and retroactively add that in. But yeah, we've got full stack open source SvelteKit e-commerce site. I'm actually going to be using this in production, free for you guys to use as well. I'm pretty excited about this whole thing. So yeah, that whole thing is done now. We've got this is working. Checkout works, products, everything. We're looking good. Okay, I think I'm gonna call it here. That's the core functionality of the app done, and I'm starting to lose my voice. So I'm gonna go ahead and push all of this up. I'll make a post about this, do all that stuff. And yeah, let's see, core checkout functionality done. Awesome. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. We will probably do this again. I'm gonna try and improve my internet and pick a much better time to do this because it is like middle of the day, weird time. So definitely not the best time to do this. We'll look at doing this again maybe later this week or next week. But yeah, thank you all for being here, and I will talk to you later.